Hi there, my name's Dave Mills, amateur radio operator, KD0AZG. I wanted to make a video on deploying out to a remote location and setting up HF operations in a disaster situation where communication in the area has been lost, and so that you'll see that you don't have to have a whole lot, but there are some things that you need. My plan here is to set up an HF radio system, which I already have in my vehicle anyway, but we're going to hook that to a computer, and we're going to demonstrate making a HF contact via RMS Express, which is a process that you can do peer-to-peer, or you can do location to a gateway to another computer, another amateur radio operator outside the region, in order to effect communication completion. And this scenario would be good for health and welfare checks. Scenario being, I'm out in a rural community right now southeast of Manhattan, and so if all the communication in this area were down, these folks generally would not have an opportunity to notify relatives, friends of their situation or particular needs. An amateur radio operator deployed to the area could set up a station. Those folks could come to that station, give them an email address to an area outside the disaster area, and that amateur radio operator can get an email to those people without the use of internet connection where they're at. So we'll go through that, and I hope you enjoy the video. Let me introduce you to my radio. It's a Yaesu 857D all mode radio. I've got it mounted in my vehicle. Has a separation head. The actual radio is right here, and that is connected to a antenna matcher, and then of course back to the antenna. This is the HF antenna I'm going to start out with. It's in a OPEC HF 400 multi-band. You change the bands by changing these plugs into different holes on the antenna, and that's what we're going to start off with. And then if we need to, we'll deploy out a larger antenna, and with the help of the use of their flagpole at this community center, we'll set that up. Alrighty, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to replace my cell phone holder that I use for storm spotting with a suction cup. And what that suction cup is going to allow us to do is to mount my laptop on that suction cup. As so. Alrighty, the next thing we got to do is we need to hook this radio up to the laptop. On the back of this radio there are two ports, the DIN plugs, and you find the proper port and you plug that in. And then you have a signal link, which is what we use to interface the radio to the computer in order to get the proper signal out to the proper stations. Alrighty, we now have the radio and the computer connected via this cord down to the signal link. And the signal link is basically a sound card. The computer has a sound card, but this does it more efficiently in amateur radio. As you transmit volume, you receive volume, and then a delay if you need a delay in the process of sending the information that you're sending to the computer or to the radio. And we've got the radio set. Right now we're going to be using 40 meters. And once we're into this, we're going to be pulling up some information on amateur radio operators who have their HF radio set up on an iGate, which is a gate to the internet that I can transmit to from this location without internet to their location in order to send an email. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create an email, and we're going to send this to my email address, kd0azg@gmail.com. Test from mobile. This is a test to show how to send email via HF radio. Alright, so now I've got my email, and this can contain, the email address could be someone who is outside the disaster area that needs to hear from someone inside the disaster area. So we would send the email to that address. We would type out the information, or we could send a file, a text file, to that person. And so to get that started, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here back to our main page, and we're going to choose Vera HF Winlink, and we're going to click on that as open session, and it's going to load stations. Okay, now it says it's loaded and it's ready. So now we need to choose a station, and you have to go out and select these stations randomly occasionally and upload new information. But right now, all these stations, as of my last upload, were available to send emails to via HF. Now we're on 40 meters, so we're going to be looking for something in 7. Okay, right here, the very top one. So we'll choose that. And that station we're sending it to is Nora Sierra 0 Alpha. Okay, so I need to set my radio to 7102. So I have my radio now set to 7102.00 upper sideband. And I do need to go back to the original email I sent, and we are going to post to the outbox. So we're going to send that to the outbox. So now that message is loaded and ready to send. And we're going to come back here, and we're going to say start. Okay, so right now the system has recognized that there is already a station attempting to use that frequency. So we're going to stand by here for just a little bit, see if that clears up, and then we will go ahead and send our message, or attempt to make the contact to send the message. Okay, my radio is now attempting to contact this other station. Okay, I came up with a failure to connect on that station. So what we'll do in that case is we will go back and we'll choose the next available station. This next station is a 9 station, 7103.7. So my output frequency has to be 7103-70. Okay, so my radio is set up on the outbound frequency, and I don't hear anything, so we're going to go ahead and start it. Okay, so I have a problem. My problem is I'm not sending the information. And so what I need to do is go down here and check to make sure all my settings are proper. And okay, I've got my ALC fixed now to where we are transmitting information. And I think we'll go back and choose our original frequency, 72. Now, since I'm actually transmitting a signal, as you can see, this is not a quick process. Okay, I am connected to that other station, and it's transmitting my information now. And in a minute, you'll see a green line come across here, which will show my email being sent. Okay, my email is now being sent. Okay, now I'm disconnected from the other station. The email has been sent. So now, if I go to my email, my Gmail, I have an email right here from myself via that HF link. This is a test to show how it's send an email via HF radio. And that's it. Works just that simple. Now if I want to reply back, I simply push reply. It brings up my email address on Winlink. That is one thing about Winlink. If you're going to use it, you have to register with them and you have to have an email address through them. Otherwise, of course, you can't send or receive email. But test message received, all okay. Thank you. Okay, and I'll send that back. So now that's sending. Okay, I just sent that email back to that station, or not necessarily that station, but the Winlink situation. So now when I go back out here in a minute, I'm going to reattach myself to the same station we were contacting with, and it should download my response. So it's a two-way street. Once you send an email, you can get responses back from the people that you're wanting to hear from. So let's see if we can reconnect. Okay, currently the radio, again, there's multiple stations using the same station to relay information. Okay, again, we're connected now. In a minute, once it goes through its handshake, you should see a green line going this direction now, showing it's downloading the email that we just sent from my phone through to my HF radio. And there's my message coming back to me. Alright, now that email has been sent back to me, the system will automatically disconnect. Alright, so now we can actually close this window. We don't need it any longer. Then if I go to my inbox, and right there, Just message received, all okay, thank you. And that's how you can facilitate in an emergency situation communication from those who aren't able to get a note out to other stations outside the region who can help facilitate those messages. So, and that's from a mobile antenna. Obviously, if we had the regular full-sized antenna set up on the flagpole, communication would even be that much better. But this is just from a simple mobile setup. Hope that helps explain what Winlink is and how to use it.